Hi, how are things? Everyone, welcome to this, our Mundo Espiritismo channel. My name is Edward, and today I will be talking about one of the emblematic instruments of the cult of Maria Leonza, the tobacco. Specifically, I come to share with you a material and the anecdote that accompanies it, in order to educate about how the spirits shape and draw all kinds of images on the tobacco leaf in order to communicate a message. Shaping and imaging on the tobacco leaf belongs to the genre of physical effect phenomena. The phenomena of physical effects are a category of phenomena of mediumship in which the spirits, using the ectoplasm of a voluntary or involuntary medium, can materialize and manipulate appearances and physical objects. In the case of tobacco and its use as an oracle within the cult of Maria Leonza, the spirits control environmental factors, and they mold the tobacco ash to build figures and intelligent forms, which can be interpreted as a response or a coherent message. The story that I am going to share below happened to a believer in the cult of Maria Leonza, and who, going through personal problems, chose to conjure and smoke an artisan tobacco. After that, he took a photograph and sent it to be interpreted. The receiver studied it, but couldn't see anything. As soon as he was able to observe the face of a woman, he pointed to her image within a circle, shared the image with me, and after presenting various symptoms related to trance, such as tachycardia, pain in various parts of the body, heightened intuition, I was able to visualize several faces, and I was also able to know their identities and interpret the general meaning of what was shown there. Next, pay close attention to the image that I am going to show you. Next, on the left side we have the original photograph received, which has suffered a loss of quality because it was sent through the WhatsApp application, which decreases the resolution of the images. On the right side, the same image but restored and enhanced with the use of artificial intelligence, to recover the sharpness and resolution and thus be able to better assess the detail. The name of the artificial intelligence used is found as a watermark on the restored photograph. From this moment on, I recommend raising the video quality to the maximum and maximizing the window to better view the details of the tobacco. We begin by describing, first, the face of the woman that could be observed by the person who sent me this photograph. The person who gave me the photograph told me that he thought it was a dead or deceased person. It was then that I felt tachycardia and other symptoms of spiritual closeness, and immediately afterward, clarity came and I was able to see details and interpret. So I told her firmly and confidently, no. That woman is not a dead or deceased, that is the image of the anima de Taguipire. To be more exact, it is the image of the illustration by Francisca Duarte, but in its presentation as the anima de Taguipire, the image that appears on printed prints. The anima de Taguipire is the first form and spiritual scale in which the spirit of Grandmother Francisca Duarte became known in folkloric terms. It is known that it is El Anima de Taguipire due to the youthful shape of its face, similar to the illustration on the printed image that identifies it. In the tobacco, the youthful and pale face of a woman can be seen, her hair is covered, and her gaze is to the right and downwards, as if the image of the anima de Taguipire was turned to the right. Next to him, on the right side, a complete woman is visualized. She is fair-skinned, has black hair, and wears the clothing of Muslim countries. The color of the ash is solid white, that means it is a spirit of very high light. That spirit is conversing with the soul of Taguipire. On the right side of this woman, the image of the Virgin Mary that we all know is displayed. Letting see her fine face, a bit of her hair peeks out from the veil, and the classic clothing of Arab and Muslim countries. On her veil a crown. Her face looking directly towards the woman described above. Going back to the image of the anima de Taguipire. Below and a little to the left, the image of an angel is displayed. It has the appearance of the illustration of the angel Gabriel. With fair skin, light curly hair, its wings are white, its arms are extended forward and upward in the direction to the left. His clothing is a tunic in two colors, one white and one darker. Behind the angel and slightly downwards, is the image of an older man, with a thick beard and wearing a hat. The image corresponds to Don José Toribio de la Peña Montañez, also known as Don Toribio Montañez. In the lower part, a man with indigenous features is shown, with long black hair, a band on his forehead, a furrowed brow, lively eyes, and a penetrating gaze. The image corresponds to the Paramaconi cacique. A little higher up, close to the edge of the tobacco, smaller in shape, the image of an older man is visualized. His face is angular, with pronounced sunken cheeks and eye sockets. He wears a dark-colored hat. The image corresponds to Don José Nicanor de los Mercedes Ochoa Pinto Murillo, also known as Don Nicanor Ochoa. Unfortunately, there are a number of details that were lost when the image lost resolution. The original image also showed the image of an archangel next to the angel. The restoration only rescued the most visible details, at the same time it masked the most subtle ones. If you visualize the upper edge towards where the angel extends his arms and towards the side where the Paramaconi cacique looks, you will be able to observe some dark figures. The figure of each one alludes to the figure of black magicians. Seen from our perspective, the shadowy figure facing the angel has demonic figures on the right side. They wear a black tunic. The one on top looks like the character Palpatine from Star Wars. A curious fact to contribute is the following: these four spirits of the spiritual courts of the cult of Maria Leonza are spirits that work in mission with the person who sent me the photograph, and the person who smoked the tobacco was in the past tense a patient there on a spiritual mission. In general, what this tobacco that this person smoked reflects means the following: all the light and presence of spirits of light are found in the central part of the tobacco, which represents their spiritual state, and everything bad is found in the periphery, on the edges. What this means, taking into account the actions of the spirits visualized there, that although there are dark forces interested in harming her, there is also a great spiritual movement that seeks to protect her from all evil that comes to her in life. This interpretation agrees with the message and facts intuitively announced to the person who sent me the photograph and who was able to successfully rectify and channel a spiritual message for this overwhelmed person. Sometimes what happens to us is that because spiritual things cannot be seen or touched, we come to feel that we are alone and helpless and that our prayers are just an empty and imaginary leap of faith. But thanks to the investigations and experiments that I have done in the field of Spiritism, what has happened in my life and in the lives of others, I have been able to verify that loneliness does not exist for those who pray and ask with discipline, much less helplessness or hopelessness. What happens is that life often distracts us and we lose our spiritual connection, so we allow ourselves to be absorbed and overwhelmed by the negative forces of life. In my most vulnerable years it was when the spirits taught me that especially when I'm worse, that's when it's more important to pray and ask instead of giving in to despair. I made this a disciplinary practice, and over time I acquired a special strength and force, thanks to which many recurring problems in my life stopped happening. I hope and this material serves to feed faith, hope and conviction among those who have lost it or have weakened over time. Without more to add, may God bless you and see you later.